Good morning, dear friends. Let me see. Can you hear me? Yes. Hooray! Well, it's Groundhog Day. Here we are again. What's the date? It's the April the 17th. So it looks like we're going to be living on like this for a little while. My name is Robert Beatty. I'm the founder and guiding teacher of the Portland Insight Meditation Community. I know some of you joining in are new to this group and this community, and you're most welcome. The website is portlandinsight.org, and there's enough stuff on there to study and guided meditations and so on to keep you busy for the rest of your life, actually. So, I want to begin with a reading from the Dhammapada. I'm starting an 8-week class in the Dhammapada starting next Wednesday night. I'll speak about that in the middle. One who recites many teachings, but being negligent, doesn't act accordingly, like a cowherd counting others' cows, does not attain the benefits of the contemplative life. One who recites but a few teachings and lives according to the Dharma, abandoning passion, ill will, and delusion, aware and with mind well freed, not clinging in this life or the next, attains the benefits of the contemplative life. One who recites many teachings but being negligent does not act accordingly, like a cowherd counting others' cows, does not attain the benefits of the contemplative life. Vigilance is the path to the deathless, negligence the path to death. The vigilant do not die, the negligent are as if already dead. Knowing this distinction, vigilant sages rejoice in vigilance, delighting in the field of the noble ones. Absorbed in meditation, persevering, always steadfast, the wise touch nirvana, the ultimate rest from toil. Glory grows for a person who is energetic and mindful, pure and considerate in action, restrained and vigilant, and who lives the Dharma. So, the world continues to be remarkably out of control. It always was, of course, but now it's more apparent. Even we in the wealthy side of the planet are experiencing great uproar. So in what shall we take refuge? And I encourage you to not approach this as a meaningless or just a little song. To think about the meanings. I take refuge in the Buddha being awake. I take refuge in the Dharma and the way things are, in the practices. And I take refuge in community of practice. And in the community of all life. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community, Dharma. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya. When someone who knows what they're doing in working on computers wants to go into the operating system because there's something malfunctioning, they turn off all the programs. Meditation is sort of like that. We turn off our activity. We find a comfortable, safe place to sit. And then we turn this mysterious capacity of awareness inward. What's happening in this mind? Yesterday I began the Dhammapada with the first two phrases, which are, mind is the forerunner of all states. The Buddha's discovery that happiness and freedom come from the training of mind. So, let's pause, let's stop, let's sit here. Let's sit here and become aware of the contact the body makes with the chair or the cushion. And it's useful to find a posture which is comfortably upright. If we're reclining, strongly supported in the back, then it's very easy to drift into a sort of semi-awake, half-asleep place. It doesn't have to be rigidly erect, but upright so that you can tell when the body begins to lose its muscle tone, when it starts to slump a little bit. So we park the body. Notice whatever sounds are around us. Notice the mood that's present. Pleasant, unpleasant, indeterminate. and embracing the fact, the truth of breathing in and breathing out. Noticing how each breath arises out of nowhere. Each breath manifests the great truth of impermanence. It comes into being, it rises to fullness, it declines, and then it vanishes. In the pause that's sometimes there between the breaths, one can simply remain present, or you could shift your awareness to the hands. Lots of life. And then as the breath breathes itself, that becomes the object again. it's quite likely that the mind has been doing some wandering. This wandering is our journeys into the trances of everyday life, the trance of the past, the trance of the future. Awakening to the trance of the future is particularly useful with anxiety, because we begin to see how the mind creates a frightening future image and then tries to solve the problem. Most things about which we worry, of course, never come to pass. So for this time, this short 20 minutes or so, why not put down the preparation for the future catastrophe and take a few moments to enjoy being alive here, now. With breathing in and breathing out. Oftentimes, a wandering mind provokes another wandering mind, provokes a whole set of thoughts and associations. There's a Buddhist word for this. It's called papancha, mental proliferation. The answer for mental proliferation is awareness and concentration. Also love, the willingness to let things be as they are. When you can, come home to the simplicity of the sensations of in-breathing and out-breathing. we are intentionally paying attention to the body, the slowest changing aspect of a human being. And we train the mind to attend to this rather bland, in a way, object. It's not intense. We learn in this way to attend to more and more precise, fine detail of what occurs in the inner life. Being awake to, aware of the mysterious process of awakening. A wandering mind can be happening and you can be quite engrossed in it, quite entranced. And then suddenly, inexplicably really, awareness is there. And there's no longer the same identification with the worry or the fear or the desire or the depression or the sensations in the body. Waking up to that which knows, which is awake. how intimately can you embrace this breath right now? How intimately these thoughts, these emotions, this moment is like this. There's no need to change it. In the insight meditation practice, we are constantly letting go, letting go, letting go. And we do that letting go to include everything. And ultimately we discover that through that letting go, we discover that we are interconnected with everything. We are everything. We examine this experience of a separate self and discover that it's vaporous, transient. On the other hand, of course, we live in a world where we have this experience of self and other. And there's a variant of the mindfulness of breathing practice, which is kind of a hybrid. On the in-breath, you might utter the words, "May I be happy," or "May I be free." On the out-breath, "May all beings be happy." May I be happy. And this isn't the happiness of a good mood or getting our way in something. It's the happiness of freedom, the happiness of profound loving and compassion. It could be, "May I be free from anxiety." May all beings be free from anxiety. And so we can add this simple mantra, which then helps to develop concentration. May I be happy. May all beings be happy. And let's notice, sitting here, the body might have become a little stiff or tight. If it wants to stretch, if the impulse is there, notice it, and then very slowly and mindfully letting that stretching occur. Letting your eyes stay closed and really inhabit the insides. And then noticing what's required to let your eyes open. Notice how seeing magically appears. And let's for a moment do the devotional hand washing. Let your hands meet each other as lovers who haven't seen each other in a year. Or maybe one's been quarantined and haven't seen each other for quite some time. Let these hands love one another and be aware of the touch and the movement. These days we find ourselves washing our hands more frequently. Why not do it as a mindfulness practice and a loving kindness practice? Dear hands, you're so wonderful for me. You treat me so well. May you be nice and clean and not too dried out by all this soap. And loving the hands, loving your hands. I have a Dharma talkette I want to share with you. It's around the word papancha, which is my favorite Buddhist word. My favorite English word is ubiquitous. I like that. But papancha, mental proliferation, and we all know what it is. You see it happen. A thought occurs and then a woman wants some potatoes for the meal she is cooking. So she sends her husband to the marketplace to buy potatoes. As he walks out the door, she calls after him, "Be sure to get a good price." So all the way to the marketplace, the man is thinking about potatoes and what he'll have to pay. If he buys the very best potatoes, he knows he'll have to pay more than if he buys lesser quality potatoes. On the other hand, the lesser quality potatoes are just that, not so good. In fact, he knows he'll have to be very careful in buying other than top price potatoes, because the seller might try to stick him with a bad potato, even a rotten potato. When he thinks of someone cheating him by giving him a rotten potato, he gets really mad. Why do people have to be so greedy as to stick me with a rotten potato? Just at this point, he reaches the stall of the potato seller and screams at him, "You can keep your rotten potatoes." I recognize myself in that. Oops. So, a couple of announcements. I think I'm going to go to this share screen if I can pull it off. Is it going to work? Yes. There's this, which is the PIMC upcoming classes. Here we are. There's the Dhammapada class. Oh no, this is Gary, the 4 Foundations of Mindfulness. And then there's an introduction to heart cultivation, the Buddhist teachings on love, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity with Doug Pullen. And yours truly doing, whoop, where is it? Must be at the top. Oh, this is the Dhammapada, yes. So those are online, and I hope you will consider them. And then there's one more sharing to do. Where is it? Here we go. This reminder. Oh, here we are. The community has been bringing forth wonderful generosity, and the encouragement is, please, let's keep it up. And there's all these weekly groups. Please try some of the others. Here's Jim's Monday night guest house, and there's a Tuesday morning peer-led meditation, and Boundless Heart with Gary, and Wednesday Wake Up, and Doug Pullen on Thursday nights. Oh, and Fridays at noon, and the Sunday meditation group. There's a lot happening. So please come and join us. We are really getting our value out of one Zoom membership. All those different classes are happening on. And this Saturday, Richard Lang is zooming in from England. Highly recommend you do that. And also this Saturday, Jim Dalton is doing a Qigong workshop. So there, you can just stay busy all the time. All right. I think I would like to open up the practice of counsel. How are you doing? What are the challenges? What's the silver lining in this for you, if there is one? So, please unmute by pressing your space bar or the little red, click the little red microphone, and let us know what's happening in your particular heart.
Robert?
I hear someone.
Linnell.
Hello, Linnell.
Can you hear me?
Are you in a tent?
No, I'm upstairs.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted to share, I think many neighborhoods in Portland have been banging pots and pans at 7 p.m. every day in honor of the healthcare workers and to thank them. And I was also thinking about your daughter. And I wanted to share my bell that I've been clanging. It's really loud. I think it's an Austrian cowbell. And I just wanted to thank your daughter and everybody that's supporting. So here it is. So I guess that's a little bit of a silver lining, is just more community with my neighbors. Actually, it's been joyful to watch the children throughout the day because I'm never home. Number one, they're not home either. So there's been more chalk art on the sidewalks.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
And the neighbors 2 doors down are filling their windows with beautiful art, kid art. So I think there's been an outpouring of love in the neighborhood.
Thank you, Linnell.
Top of the morning, everybody.
Peter.
From Vancouver. Actually, there's a Aurora Borealis behind me, so I'm grateful for that. With the virtual screen. I was sort of thinking about a number of people out there that have their beloved animals. And I was thinking about Russ and what he's going through, and my heart goes out to you. And this is sort of blessing at the same time. We've got a 12-year-old German Shepherd by the name of Luke, who's got Lou Gehrig's disease. And he's kind of in the last few months, he can't walk anymore. My wife, who normally would be at work, is home. And so we both get a chance to take care of him. And I find that the love actually grows as he suffers more, our opportunity to be more loving and compassionate. So I had a little crazy idea. Bring your pet to the meditation session and share something about your pet that you love, or something quirky. A couple minutes, because I would be interested in seeing other people's. I see cats strolling through every once in a while. So just an idea. That's all I have. Blessings, everybody.
Thank you, Peter, and blessings to Luke.
I have a I have a I have a blessing with the new pet. Who's asleep right now, so I'm not going to bring her over. But I've never had a new puppy, and I had no idea I never feel this close to another animal. Um, I have another joy is that my in-laws are in New York City, and one of them had all the symptoms we don't know because there's no way for her to get tested, but was very sick for about a week, and her fever just broke. And another family member is off a ventilator now, so
Wow.
recovering. But there are others who have suffered with this that we know.
It's reaching quite a fevered pitch. I think I read this morning that there were almost 5,000 deaths in the last 24 hours, COVID related. It's a big deal.
Hello there. Hi, just wanted to say hi.
Hi there.
Hi, I'm out in Battleground, Washington, and there's no meditation community out here, so I really appreciate that you're doing this because it's a great way to start the day. So, thank you.
Thanks for being with us.
I have a new puppy to share for Peter and everyone else. He's been joining in every daily morning meditation since he came home almost 3 weeks ago, and he sleeps through it, which is lovely as well. But he's been a delight to bring into the family of my other animals and my partner during this time as well.
What's his name and what kind is he?
His name is Oso, and he's a rescue mix. He's a husky border collie, which is the same as my other dog, who's a therapy animal. She's sleeping on the other end of the room right now.
Oh.
So this is our quietest time of the day. It's delightful.
Very sweet. Thank you.
Hi, this is Oreo.
Oh my.
And she's adorable and squirrely, little puppy. But I also have a 14-year-old big old poodle who is I've been grateful to spend more time with because he's not going to be with us much longer. So I definitely feel all of you who have so far mentioned that you have elderly pets on, the last part of their journey with us.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Marilyn. I really enjoyed your comment. Everybody, you hear so many definitions of love is, but when you said love and then pause, accepting things as they are, I just love that as really a definition of love. So thank you.
That comes from Achan Sumedho, who is the elder Western monk in the Thai forest tradition. And I heard he spoke it at a retreat I was on, changed my life actually. He said, love means there's room for everything. It doesn't mean that you don't call the police or that you don't set boundaries. It doesn't mean that you let someone into your life that shouldn't be in your life. But it does mean we don't have to throw people out of our hearts. We don't have to clench our hearts. And that was very, very helpful to me. There's another little puppy, my goodness. David, look at this.
Poppy, she's about 9 weeks old now. She's a cockapoo. Perfection incarnate.
What a
Saying, I think we bought the puppy from the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
I love you. I love you.
Aww.
Love you. I love you.
Christopher?
Hey,
Hi.
my video is not working today, but I wanted to share an observation that I had the other day. I'm making some plant medicine, and typically, when everything's in stock and things are shipping quickly, you go onto the computer and you place the order. But now there's not as much in stock. Things take a long time to ship. So instead of my mind going straight to online to buy these things, it goes to the community.
Huh.
And I start peeking over my neighbor's fences to see what plants they have in their yard.
Ah.
And I remember my neighbor who has a beehive, and I ask her if she has beeswax, and I go community first instead of onto the computer first, because I know that everything's backed up. So it's a time of being alone, but it's also allowed me to, think community first and try to get my needs met through my community rather than Amazon. So thank you.
Thank you. May this persist after we get out of this close down, whenever that is.
Hey, this is Carmen. Hi, Robert.
Hello, Carmen.
And Sangha team. Since we're on the pet theme, it brought up for me, I had to put my German Shepherd that I adopted for 2 years, an elder, and I knew we weren't going to have him for very long, but 3 weeks ago we had to put him down. He was 85 pounds of pure love, and brought immense joy. And it's good to see all the little puppies out there that everyone else is having, and I just wanted to share that it brought such great joy to take care of an elder dog that needed a lot of help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert?
Yes. Oh my goodness, it's dog day. Pamela, hi.
This is Harold, and he was my sister's dog, and when she died, he came to me, and so it's a little piece of my sister's spirit that lives in my house with me.
How nice. Harold?
Harold.
Looks very pensive. I think this is an old soul.
He's a young dog, but an old soul.
I'd like to thank everyone who responded to the request for masks for Tara. She's going east with almost 35, I think. So they will all find very appropriate faces to be on in Bronxville, New York. Another way this forum could be used is if you have questions about your practice.
Hi, Robert. It's Jessica.
Hello, Jessica.
So I do have a question about my practice. It's so funny. I can see when something comes up that's very caught up in my self-identification that it really vexes me, but I haven't been able to, I get so caught up and so upset and so disappointed with myself that when it arises, I'm like, and I can see that happening, but I haven't been able to find that ability to really sit and lean into it. And any advice on how I might do that? Because afterwards, when all the dust settles and, a few hours later, I'm like, oh yeah, I saw that. But it's a pretty consistent issue, this like really big knot that keeps coming up. And I'm just having a hard time figuring out when I can lean into it and trust that I'll be able to see the other side. Or
I've almost got it, I think. Can you give an example that's more tangible?
So, right. Yesterday I was looking at stay-at-home retreats, and I was looking at just a variety of possibilities. And I could just feel inside of me this whole rearing up of almost like one of my favorites, the imposter syndrome. And then it's just like this whole voice that gets really resistant. That's like, I think it comes from a place of, who are you to do this at this time? Or what do you think you are? It's this voice that feels familiar to the imposter, but it's even more potent because it really is just so resistant about almost like that, how dare you? And then I really get so worked up that I'm like, okay, I can't look at that retreat. I can't do that. I just have to walk away. Mm-hmm. And how ironic that it's about stay-at-home retreats, that,
right.
That kind of like audacity. Who am I at this time?
So it's a shaming pattern.
Yeah. I think it's the shaming, and it's the inner voice that says, beyond you don't deserve, but almost like, who do you think you are? You think you're some special person, that you could actually do this? You could get to that height? Who do you think you are? It's like that voice that just thinks, what am I? Think I'm some little princess or something special?
Right.
Yeah.
Makes me think of a line from a poem. Poet from here in Portland. Anyway, sending with shouts the horrible effects of childhood through the broken gate. That this pattern you learned early, probably the first 2 to 4 years, and it is the good news is it's only programming. and that you will get to a place where you see it coming and it's still yucky, and then it passes. But it takes a lot of loving of that and being willing to really explore that. One thing you might do would be to write down those internal voices, those internal attacking statements. You might study them. You might become really an avid, curious person about how that happens, because you are not doing that. It's doing that. And so it can become more and more objectified. I'm not sure how I could do this next idea I have. I guess I could put a link. Okay, I'm going to send a link after this broadcast this morning, about 15 minutes after the broadcast. I'm going to put it on the listserv connections, and I'll also put it on my blog, which is portlandinsight.org/blog. And it's from some years ago at Brighton Bush. I discovered, quite accidentally, a process of really illuminating and developing some compassion for self-hatred. And there's 3 files. One is I read with the book The Ugly Duckling to the group, and the second one was I described what we were going to do, and then we did it. And what we did was this: I had paper, 8.5 by 11 inch paper, and everyone in the room, 30 people or so, wrote their self-hating thoughts that they knew. We did a little meditation first, and then they wrote them down, and then we folded them all up and put them in a basket, and then we passed it around, and then each person took one and we read them. Oh my goodness, it's so interesting, because everyone who has a serious dose of self-hatred thinks they're the only one, or that there's something wrong with me because I have this. And there is something wrong with this, but in our culture, everybody has it. Not every culture has the same thing. But and so these recordings are that, and many people have found them very useful. So I will post them, and you can, and anyone else who wants to, you can listen to them. With that, I was just kind of shooting from the hip, and we started reading them, and the weight in the room became unbearable, and I thought, oh God, Robert, you have blown it this time. It's like, this is enough shooting from the hip. Stick to the Buddhist doctrine. And I was afraid we'd never get out, but we did quite effectively, and it opened up a lot of compassion. Yeah.
No, thank you very, very much. And it's interesting because during this time of quarantining, for the first time ever, I've started a daily journal around meditation.
Great.
And I did this morning, write down some of the thoughts. I was trying to describe to Michael what was going through my mind, because I was trying to figure out, okay, next time this starts up, I want to be better prepared to try and turn towards it and face it and love it, and not just analyze it, which is my go-to also, just to go analyze and figure it out and problem solve. So,
well, the analyzing is also a defense against feeling it. Thank you. I'll be up here in my thoughts, and my thoughts are very good, and I'm very capable of thinking.
I can solve this knot. Yeah.
Exactly right. Thank you for the question. Well, it's 8, dear friends. Anybody else sitting with something that wants to be spoken? That was shared and spoken in one word.
I just want to say something to you who just shared about that. That when that negative self-talk, that inner critic is really strong, something that the technique I use a lot with people is to, write down those thoughts, but give that voice a name to help externalize it. And then, as you have your journal, when that thought pops up, write it down, and then at some point sit down and write 5 things that argue against that, proof that, you kind of go in and analyze it a little bit, but with proof to debunk it, really.
Thank you.
Right out.
Mm-hmm.
Robert,
Linnell.
I just wanted to share the refrigerator magnet my sister-in-law has on her refrigerator. In response to your comment about how we think we're the only ones, it's the wise words of an 11-year-old that says, "Nobody is normal, everybody is weird."
Oh, that's the truth, isn't it? Well, last call, friends. All right, Stephanie, get the boys. We're headed in. So I'm unmuting everybody. See you tomorrow. And here we go. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Well, have a lovely mindful day, dear friends. Thank you so much for joining together like this. It's really lovely.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Marilyn.
Have a great day.
Goodbye, dear friends on Facebook and YouTube.
Boy, stay there.